Very pleasant. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Defo Show, the post-NFL season edition of the Defo Show. Although we had that yesterday, some of it. I guess we're still in line with doing some Super Bowl postscripts. Still a lot of things to wrap up about that. We'll get into that. A lot of other things going on. I immersed myself in a little bit more of the Winter Olympics, Lubie. I do love cross-country skiing. From this aspect. They had these sprints going yesterday for the women, which I wasn't even sure what the distance was. And then I couldn't figure out the time because I was thinking, what do those times represent? It would say like 3 with a colon, 1, 2 with another colon, and then 05. Okay. So I'm thinking, wow, they've been doing this for 3 hours. How do they call that a sprint? But it was actually 3 minutes, I guess, because they only go like a mile. And the last 20 yards are slightly up an incline after they descend a little bit on the track. Now, it's interesting to me because you have the 2 ski alleys I mean, you follow in the footsteps of whoever it was that was before you, right? That they have the lanes clearly defined there by the tracks of the 2 skis. But I don't know if you remember being this level of exhausted ever, Libby. This used to happen to me when in gym class, they used to break into some track and field, and they would have you run some kind of sprint, like maybe you would run an 880. Did they do yards when you were in high school, or was it all meters?
I don't know. I don't remember.
You had the what? Now you have the 100 meters, 200 meters in the Olympics, but back then it was 100. It was the 220. It was 440, 880, that sort of thing. I don't know. Did you ever have to sprint like a half mile, and then even when you were young and in somewhat of a decent resemblance of being in condition, and your lungs would be burning? I mean, it's such exhaustion. These guys literally collapse. The women too, as they cross the finish line in these cross country events. So I'm watching that, and I'm trying to remember the last time, and I doubt I could ever reach this level again. To reach that level of physical exhaustion from the standpoint of aerobically being challenged and having your heart pumping like a maniac. I don't know. When was the last time you experienced anything like that, Louis?
Oh, Jesus. What time I was going to be crude. I was going to say, hey, Luca. We got a marathon that day. Otherwise, sorry, mother-in-law, if you're watching. Hello. Otherwise, never. Our walks with Wolf are not that intense.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So you're looking at that and go, my God, I mean, that's the spirit of competition there, where you're ready to pass out after you're done. The curling team, the mixed doubles curling team, U.S. team made it to the chance to play for the gold. They're either going to get gold or silver. They won yesterday.
We were talking crap. We're like, who plays curling in USA? I guess someone.
Duluth, Minnesota, I believe, is where the woman that is part of that team is from. And that is a curling capital. It is a curling hub in the United States of America.
Okay.
And I could see that easily because, excuse me for the language here, but there ain't shit to do there.
No, we're Minneapolis.
People park themselves on a lake for like 6 months in a little house and fish out of a hole that they dug in their living room. I mean, that's activity there. We were there in Minneapolis, so we were hard-pressed to find anything to do. Now, we didn't have a whole lot of time, Louie, because of the oddball schedule that we were working, trying to do morning drive radio in a place that was in a different time zone. Yeah. And what wasn't the easiest of things to do. Plus, that's when we had like a major equipment foul-up. And you, in your brilliance, figured out a way to get us the broadcast back to Miami. Otherwise, whoa. We were looking at you talk about looking at failure, staring it straight in the face.
That could have been bad.
I don't know what we would have said. And what was funny too, even though we paid our own way, we didn't ask the station to provide even 5 cents worth of expenses, which they never would. Did you get the feeling they were looking for us to fall on our face while we went on the road for these Super Bowl shows? There was zero appreciation ever. Well, once in a blue moon, like every 5 years, the program director who was there the entire time we were there, woman named Grace Blazer, would say, "Oh, you did a good job." Did a good job.
It's like
Like
rare.
Joe Montana was our weakest guest across 4 days, and you're telling us we did a good. Nice, thanks for the compliment. Not that we were fishing for him.
Good. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they were waiting for it, but it was almost like they wouldn't have been upset if it didn't work out because they had nothing to do with it. We would have great shows.
Yeah, they were like, "See that, DeForest? You and your stupid partner there, Lucas.
Exactly. That's
Can't just come to the studio and do a show, huh? Like everybody else. Got to go on the road." Which everybody else at that time was on the road. Although,
Yes.
who was telling us that nobody's at Radio Row anymore?
No, Ken, and I was talking to a buddy, our guy Chris Visser is, I guess, retired from doing it, but the guys, Kyle and Rimmer's son, Jeff Rimmer's son, Josh Rimmer, still, I guess, took over. So Kyle was reaching out to me because in San Francisco, I guess he thought we may be out there, and I was like, for what we do, it sort of doesn't make a lot of sense. But look, if you find someone that wants to pay for us, Defo and I will always go. Like, we're not the people that trash on Radio Row. To this day, I see value in it. I think people handled it the wrong way, but the way we handled it, I thought it was fantastic. We had really good conversations with a lot of really interesting people, and we barely talked about the game. So I enjoyed how we did it. I can't listen to 40 people talk about the Super Bowl. So that's why
only so much X's and O's you can consume.
So I don't really follow a lot of other people's coverage, but for us, I'll never trash it. Like to this day, we don't go out of our way to go. But if someone wanted us to go, I'd go. Like there's still
our broadcasting experience. Where are you going to ever have that situation?
It's just different. It's just cool.
Like one superstar after another, just rolling by from different genres also. So
if you embrace it the way we did, where we were open about it, we didn't have any preconceived notions about any guest or any like what we were trying to get across. You were good about just taking every guest at face, especially when you knew their name. So
you had to hold up a little sign. That's this influencer or whatever that
exactly.
was.
So he
the blonde woman that was a big influencer that you were in love with, not in love with as far vis-a-vis like Shirley.
There was a few like Shirley. No, it wasn't. It was the one. She ended up getting a late night show. I forgot her name.
Yes.
We also had the one that was an actress, with the blonde one.
Yeah.
And I forgot her name too. She had an interesting name. But he reached out to me, and I was just talking to him. I'm like, yeah, you guys still go? He's like, yeah, every year. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, so what is it like? He's like, it's totally different. He's like, it's like 30% radio, 70% podcast. He's like, it's a whole different animal. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'm like, okay, so it actually is even still fitting for the world we do today. So, but it made me happy that because I thought when radio was moving on that it would die. It makes me happy that it's pivoting and still going on.
Well, you have a zillion times more people doing this than were capable of getting radio jobs. I mean, there just weren't that many spots out there where everybody who can turn on a computer somehow can be a broadcaster. And look at us. I mean, for a couple of bucks a month, you're on a service where you're streaming all over the world.
Yes.
And it looks like anybody else that's doing it. So
yes.
It's opened up some opportunities. At the same time, it's kind of compromised the possibilities of actually centralizing, I guess, an audience so that you're able to provide some value for your advertisers because all of these people, I got like 8,000 listeners. And you're like, well, where are they? Well,
where are they?
6,000 are in the Philippines. Like, so you got Manny Pacquiao tuned in. I think he probably has everything that he needs by now. I don't know if he's a guy that's going to appeal to somebody that wants to advertise, selling pizza. But anyway, good to be with you. Postscript on the Super Bowl. I was just reading the story. Well, this one just struck me right before we came on the show here, Libby. Glancing around at my odds page in the New York Post, and sure enough, they've already posted the odds to win next year's divisions in football. All right, so right at the very top is the AFC East.
I think the Bills.
Well, they have Buffalo at minus 105.
Yeah, I think it's the Bills. I think the
Patriots at plus 105.
Take a step back. They're going to have now the runner-up to the Super Bowl schedule, which is very different.
This is going to hit you right in the face, Libby. All right, so these are preseason odds to win the division, not to do much, just to win the division, to be the best team of 4 teams in what is generally considered to be a lousy division, the AFC East. Because in that division, you have 2 teams that would appear to have no chance, especially reflected in the preseason odds that have been ascribed to these clubs. The Jets are 20-1 to win the division. Now, you would think that the Jets could be 8,000 to 1. It wouldn't make any difference. They're not winning the division next year based on what we saw last year and whatever changes. I don't know how cosmetic are changes when you're just changing the assistant coaches. Sometimes it could make a difference, but overall, you're still dealing with the same head coach, same problem. The fact that you have a lack of talent on the roster, no clear cut solution at your quarterback position, not a good spot. Miami Dolphins, Lubie, behind the Jets at 28-1 to win the division. Weren't they 2-1 to win the division like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
I think they were. I remember touting them to win the division when they fell flat on their face. That wasn't even 2 years ago. That was like going into last year. Were they 2-1 to win the division? I didn't think they would win the division last year, but so it had to be a couple of years ago. 28-1 to win the AFC East, Lubie. That's not to win the Super Bowl. It's not to make the postseason. That's to win this stinking lousy division that consists essentially now of two teams, one of which was 4-13 the 2 seasons prior to this one, and you're 28-1. What does that say about what people's opinion are of the Miami Dolphins making any kind of progress? I guess what if you're looking at it, they have a first-year head coach again. They have no quarterback again. They don't know what they're going to have at wide receiver, which has been at least that part of the roster has been relatively in place for the last couple of years with Waddle and Tyreek Hill. But Hill, in all likelihood, at least according to most, is not going to be a Miami Dolphin this coming season. We don't know about Tua, but 28-1, that does not seem. That's like startling. I guess it doesn't matter if the team literally has no chance to win the division, what odds they give you. If they gave you 500-1 on the Dolphins, would you be tempted to take a little flyer on them?
For the division?
For the division. I mean, they're not winning it.
It depends on, like, if Halfley's what all these people think. All right, because locally no one likes Halfley, but nationally they did. He was interviewed for almost every job, and supposedly of all the jobs open, 4 of them were going to make him a finalist. Supposedly is what we heard. If he's this godsend as a coach, we just saw 2. Well, McDonald's, I guess, was there a couple years, and that organization had been in place and had proven over that they could turn things over. Fine, the Seahawks, but the Patriots hadn't. It's a new coach, it's still a young quarterback coming off of being bad. So they got a new coach and they won the division. So I guess if Halfley's like Vrabel and he's magical, I guess it could happen. I mean, I wouldn't expect it. Like, it's really hard to believe.
Nobody else is apparently, unless I mean, look, at 28-1, if you were a Dolphin fan, you would have to take a shot at it. But that seems very insulting. In fact, let me just scan through this because that's as far as I got. I almost fell out of my chair here before we came on the air, thinking, when have you ever seen that? Dolphins 28-1 to win the AFC East. That's incredible because the odds don't go that high. In the only other team that has higher odds that I see here in the AFC is the Raiders being 30-1 to win their division. Which look, their division includes 3 really good teams. We don't know if the Chiefs are going to bounce back. They're co-favorites with the Chargers, and the Broncos are following right in behind. When the Broncos were the best team in the AFC last year, seeding.
Yeah. I mean, that division's tough.
All right, NFC has nobody even 50-1 on the Cardinals in the NFC West. So the Dolphins are given the 3rd worst chance of any team to win their division.
It's about right. I mean, well, it just sucks because the Dolphins division is not as good. Like the NFC West, the Niners at one point people thought had a really good shot. The Seahawks won it all, and the Rams were the other team people thought would have a really good shot. So it makes sense the Cardinals, who are literally in the similar spot as the Dolphins, trying to figure out what their future is, would be long odds. The Dolphins only have 2 teams like that, and again, I think the Patriots, a lot of, like people were saying, was their schedule. So I don't think the Patriots are going to be anywhere near as good as they were this year. Like, I think Dre may take a step and be as good, so that's cool. But that roster still has actually a lot of holes. The offense needs a lot of help, and the defense is good and young, so that should improve. But they should face a much stiffer schedule next year. So, like, I don't presume the Patriots to be a 14-win team next year. But I do think the Bills should be. We have to see what Brady is as a coach, but I don't think he'll get in the way with the defense. And he was the coach of the offense, so I think that Bills are sort of just staying lockstep. So it's annoying the Dolphins are that big like don't have those long odds when the division's not as scary as the AFC West or the NFC West.
I mean, 10-1 would be like
Bills are going to be really good. I don't know about the rest of the division. The Jets, it's your 2, Glenn.
So many they're going to be horrible again.
And the Patriots. They're going to be good. I don't think they're going to fall off a cliff or anything. They feel more like a 9-11 win team as opposed to a 14-win team. next year.
I think they had a lot of things going their way this year, the New England Patriots. It's interesting, too, because the Seattle Seahawks, I was just reading a column talking about this Super Bowl postscript stuff, and football writer that I have some respect for, usually does a pretty good job, very thorough, has Seattle naturally installed as a favorite to win it all again next year. It's funny how people react. I mean, you're reacting, you're only as good as your last film. And the Patriots in serious decline and not giving them that much of a chance of even coming close to replicating what they did this season. So we'll see how that plays out. Most of the reaction, though, to the Super Bowl had nothing to do with the game. It's still all about Bad Bunny. What strikes me as being utterly hysterical is that these clean-cut, right-wing Christian Trumpsters gravitated and were so insulted by this Latin music, which, look, I had a gentleman write me a private message on Facebook saying, "Hey, well, I appreciate your taste in music. You have good taste in music in general from the stuff that I post. I guess he gathered that. And look, not everybody likes what I like, and I don't condemn anybody's taste in music. Whatever you like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Music is music. It's the universal language, which is something a message that was sort of lost among the
Totally lost it.
people that just were adamantly opposed to the idea of this whole Bad Bunny thing, which, look, as I was, I mean, many people have stated, if you didn't want to watch it, don't watch it. I mean, it's a halftime show, for God's sake. It's a time to go take a piss. Yeah, you don't have to watch this stuff. They don't necessarily. You're supposedly tuning in for a football game. Now the halftime show has become a big thing, and who does it has become a big thing. And this year it was the biggest thing ever because that's all anybody's talking about after the game. Nobody is analyzing Drake May's performance, or rather Vrabel blew it, or the Seahawks defense being top notch, underestimated for how good they were, both up front and in the secondary. I don't know. Do they have linebackers? They must have some good linebackers too. But most people are pointing to the devastation they caused with Drake May up front, annihilating the left side of the Patriots' offensive line, and the secondary was great all year. As they are the dark side. They had a lot of picks and they created a lot of havoc. And there were a couple of times where those sacks were genuinely coverage sacks, where May had time, stepped up, dodged a couple of tacklers, and still couldn't find anybody open, and eventually just had to eat the ball and or throw a pick or fumble it. But nonetheless, not much talk about that. It was all focused on Bad Bunny. But all these people gravitated towards a guy that you would have to think is the epitome. Well, unfortunately, it is the epitome of everything that they stand for.
Yes.
I mean, who's going out of their way to watch Kid Rock perform anywhere?
No one.
No one,
I
right?
didn't even know he was still performing.
I didn't even know he still performed. Did you?
I'm trying to joke because back in the day when he first came out, he had some fun songs. Like he wasn't this political firestorm. So we all na, 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 na. Even though that line has actually been exposed to being gross as hell, everyone knew that stupid ass song. Like it's not. He wasn't this lightning rod. Like I didn't hate Kid Rock. I didn't really like him. But I didn't hate him. Ba with the Ba was fine. Like he was a decent artist, whatever. But I didn't know he was performing still until the last decade. Trump like they embraced each other because no one else in the world would embrace them. That I didn't know. I'm not totally not to be a jerk. I didn't know he was performing. Like I just didn't.
I imagine if he was the main guy, like Roger Goodell said, "Hey, listen, we could get Bad Bunny, the number one entertainer in the world here, and create more attention and direct more eyeballs to the screen than we ever have. Unprecedented number of people tuning in. Or why don't we put Kid Rock up there?" Now, then everybody would have left the stadium and just gone and taken a leak.
Yes. It doesn't. Well, that's the thing. It
The
doesn't have
halftime
to
show
be
was
Rock.
cool.
There's other artists, and I understand the lament, but what we talked about last year, again, the halftime show is not for the football watcher. The halftime show is for all the others because the Super Bowl is the one time of the year, at least in America, where, and again, a lot of women watch football more than ever. So I'm not trying to be sexist. I'm just talking about my world. My mom will watch because she's been around my dad and then me, and she always had sports inclinations as a youth. So my mom will watch, but most women in my life, the football goes on, they leave the room. That's just my mother-in-law, and she's open to sports as well, but she doesn't watch my father-in-law. My wife openly is against me, and she watches something totally different. Half the time you guys joke, I watch on my phone, and we watch together on the big TV. Like, this is the time of the year that people, whether it's men or women, because again, there's a lot of men I talk to that aren't into sports. Like,
Sure.
Like everyone at least is somewhere where the game's on and they're paying attention to it. So it was smart years ago, as much as people lament Jay-Z, Roger Goodell said, "Look, man, you know music, you know the youth a lot better than I do. You pick the artists because the NFL, much like the NBA in the '80s, has worked really hard at bringing in the non-football fan and going worldwide. They literally want each team to play an out-of-country game
They're playing
every
in Paris
year.
next year.
Like they're trying to get. This has nothing to do with politics. Believe me, they lean right, as we know.
Yeah.
Like they're just as business savvy as it gets. The NFL. Again, we're arguing if they're leaving guys out of the Hall of Fame just to get more attention to the Hall of Fame. That's how much they're business focused. Like this is about drawing eyeballs that usually wouldn't watch. So
Mission
who do you get? Kendrick Lamar is a big. The youth loved Kendrick Lamar last year.
People are still talking about that.
This year, Bad Bunny's literally the most streamed. It's a fact. I know they hate facts, but it's a fact. He's the most streamed artist in the world, and he would take it seriously. He didn't do any of the political stuff that were eye gouging. Now, look, there's a lot of Easter eggs for people like my wife that were political, but it wasn't in your face. It wasn't out there. It wasn't rude or disrespectful. He actually did the opposite. He embraced his American roots to the hilt. So that's my problem with the getting angry about this. It's not about you. Like, leave the room, go get a sandwich, go change the channel. Like, what happened when I was growing up? You used to say that all the time when we would do shows, and we would grab onto any audience we would get. You would say, "Look, if you don't like what we do, I'm not mad at you for it. Change the channel." Like, there's who doesn't
million other stations, sure.
Who doesn't have at least 4 streamers?
Well, look, and my thought was when I read this gentleman's message saying that Bad Bunny's music is nothing special. I'm not running out and buying any Bad Bunny CDs or anything like that. I doubt seriously that I would even stop on a Bad Bunny song if I heard one, not because, it's some atrocious representation of everything that these right-wingers hate about America or what Americans are trying to say. It's not really my style of music. That's all. It's fine, but you can tolerate it for 15 minutes or whatever it was, 13 minutes. And part of it is the art of creating some kind of a message, I guess. And this was his message. Go out there and love people. A horrible message. Much better to, tune in to Kid Rock singing about it's not statutory, it's mandatory.
Exactly. Come on.
Perfectly fits, I guess, the philosophy of some of these people as we still await the release of the Epstein files. But that was, I mean, it's amazing how little conversation was generated. The game was a stiff. Everybody would admit that.
Yeah.
But the postscript on the Super Bowl has clearly all been about Bad Bunny, and I am amazed on it when I peruse and scroll through social media how many people were just so appalled by this that they turned on Kid Rock, which I don't think anybody – I don't know of anybody that ever goes, hey, you know what? I think Kid Rock's coming to town. I can't wait for the concert. If he was playing, in your backyard, you'd probably make sure that you went on vacation that week. All right, a lot of other stuff was going on. College basketball, an upset last night, Lubie. Kansas, Bill Self. Is it a piece or not a piece? That would be the big question with Bill Self.
That still remains.
Now, do you get a trim if you have a hairpiece on?
I don't think so.
You actually get some. I mean, it doesn't grow, so why would you need to cut it?
The rest of your hair grows, though. You're not wrong. Like, you need the rest of your hair to match it.
Okay. Still can't figure it out because this year when I'm watching him, I'm inclined to believe it's not a piece, and yet you had living proof. You went right up to the guy and naturally almost pulled it off his head like that fighter.
Yes.
Said, "You see, Defo, it is a piece."
I was like,
he just slapped it back on his head while he was turned. You were coming up behind him at the bar there. Now, the behind look is, and this is not to denigrate anybody. You're wearing a hairpiece, fine, but some of them are more obvious than others. Some are great. I mean, they made great improvements in these.
Yes.
So, and thus the game that emerged as a result of that, piece or not a piece, where you really can't tell. And you'll find a lot of division on that. If you're watching people, I used to enjoy sitting at the Mon Ami Gabi there on the Vegas Strip, right across from the Bellagio fountains. A lot of people stop by, tons of pedestrian traffic there. And we would sit for a couple of hours sipping Chardonnays and playing piece or not a piece and see how many we could come up with. But that notwithstanding, and I'm beginning to believe, I mean, it looks more natural, Lubie, than it ever did before, the Bill Self thing. But what really looks natural is Kansas now having won, I believe, 8 games in a row. And they moved to 19-5. They knock off Arizona. So there's only one undefeated college basketball team. And you know what it is, Lubie? Miami of Ohio.
Oh.
Okay. Ranked about 24th in the country. think they're something like 24-0. So they remain the only unbeaten team, not getting the respect from the pollsters that an unbeaten record would normally reflect, as clearly they're taking a look at the opposition there. Kansas, though, stuns Arizona 82-78 yesterday. I mentioned this game, and the St. John's, Connecticut game was a good one on Friday night. Nice battle there. Rick Pitino totally immersed in what he was doing, and the dynamic of the two coaches was fantastic with Danny Hurley. Talk about intense. And then St. John's emerges, hit a couple of key shots. They had a guy named Darling comes in. He's a freshman. No, he's not a freshman. He's a transfer. And he's like a 6-foot guard. Always good to see the 6-foot guard that can shoot from the outside have an impact on a game. Clearly, he's made an impact. He only had 9 points, but they were all crucial buckets that he made in turning points in the game, various turning points. Pitino beats his son, Rich Pitino, last night. Xavier going against St. John's. They went to overtime before that was accomplished, and so Rick Pitino passes Roy Williams
Oh, wow.
for third on the all-time wins list. Does that include a subtraction of wins for some of the indiscretions that he was supposedly guilty of at Louisville? Did they take some victories away like they did with Baba Bowd?
I don't know. I was going to ask you, did that actually happen? Did they actually take away?
Yeah, did they take away wins? That's
I
always
don't know.
particularly peculiar to me that that would happen. Like, did the guy not win the game? Well, what are you giving back the money to the bettors?
Yeah,
Lost?
exactly.
Why don't you refund all of the losses for the season I had on Louisville that year?
Exactly.
Anyway, Pitino third all time now, so that's quite a distinction. He beats his son. He's 5-1 against Rich Pitino, who was coached at Minnesota,
Yeah.
and was he New Mexico also? And
Yes.
then now Xavier, he got the
Yes.
Xavier job, which looked like it was a pretty good spot for him. So 5-1 against his son, and achieves that milestone last night. I don't know how far he is behind whoever. And number 2 is Jimmy Boeheim, so he might be pretty far behind there.
Behind, man. Yeah, I did it for a long
Boeheim
time.
was around for 100 years, man. I mean, he was there when I was there.
Yes, yeah, from the 70s. Yep.
53 years ago.
Didn't start till like the late 80s, early 90s.
Unbelievable. And we didn't talk about this yesterday, but that was a great ball game between North Carolina and Duke the other night.
Yeah, I missed it. I heard it was amazing.
College basketball. So a lot of things going on there. You mentioned the Heat. We'll get into that when we come back. I don't know if you want to discuss this. They blew. They had a 5-point lead with 3:32 to go. They were still leading in the ball game. They had been annihilated in the second quarter by the Utah Jazz. Who does Utah have? They have that marketing guy.
They just got Jaren Jackson Jr., so they have a nice front court, but they're openly tanking. They've been openly tanking for years to try and build a nice young group of talent. I mean, they're tanking. And the Heat should be. The Heat should just lean in with Powell being like injured, hurt, or Hero hurt. Pella Larson didn't play last night. Like, they should just play their young guys a ton and then like find a way into a top 10 slot. That's not how the Heat do it. And they still found a way to lose, though.
Where are we going with that? We'll get into that a little bit. And there was a good matchup last night as Charlotte had a 9-game winning streak going into their matchup. And they were home against the Detroit Pistons, who we thought, well, geez, I mean, the Pistons got off to that great start. And they didn't really tail off for any long period of time. I mean, they haven't had any big, long losing stretches that I can recall during the course of the season. Sit there with the second best record in the NBA at 39-13, only eclipsed by a game by the Oklahoma City Thunder, who got off to an amazing 24-1 start, then faltered and played about 500 ball for a stretch of maybe 14, 15, 16 games, and now are 41-13. So they're a game ahead of the Pistons, and those two teams are at the top of the pack. Yet nobody really considering the Pistons to win the Eastern Conference, Lubie. How have they flown so undetected under the radar that they have the best record in the East, and yet does anybody talk about the Pistons being a potential NBA Finals contender? Not really.
No,
I mean, we did last year, but you're not hearing a lot of steam about the Detroit Pistons probably being the best team in the Eastern Conference. Everybody's waiting for the Knicks to do it. Boston, I guess. Are they going to get Tatum back? Do they need Tatum back? They're playing well without him, right?
Is Tatum possible to really come back this season?
They started to play in G League ball.
Really?
They sent him to Maine. I guess they have a G League team in Maine.
I guess that's the thing, is they're good enough. That's what it is. If they were as bad as they looked early, you're not pushing them. But You're in a top 3 seed, and the East sucks. So if he's doing okay and you're not overwhelming him, I guess it's worth it because all you'd have to do if you can get into the finals, all you have to do is play. That's the thing. The East sucks and the West is freaking insane. But that's the thought: is the West will beat up each other. You only have to face one of them.
Right.
So if you have an easy walk,
you might have favorable matchups in that.
And again, as we've seen with injuries and suspensions, you never know who you're going to play. Is worked for the Celtics before, so I guess it makes sense not to push him because you don't want to risk him. He's still actually pretty young, and as good as he is, has a bright future still. But I guess since they're sitting there in that really second slot, I guess it is worth it to bring back the show. That weirds me out. The way he hurt himself, and I don't know. It looked like a real bad injury.
Everybody recovers differently. Everybody reacts differently, which I do have an addendum there to that whole Lindsey Vonn thing, which I don't even know why it was an argument. I understand that.
You're not wrong.
I mean, well, the professor putting it out there, you know how the professor is. I mean, that's his style, right?
Yes.
He's going to come up with something that seems almost completely absurd to consider, and every now and then it starts to merit more consideration. In this case, I couldn't think he was any more dead wrong because all you have to think of, Lubie, did you see? I mean, have you looked at the views of these skiers when they're on the top of the mountain there and they're about to take off on a downhill run or any kind of alpine skiing, but especially the downhill where you're going as fast as you're going to go on a mountain among any of the events? And you're looking, it is very daunting. And the lasting image I will have, and Lindsey Vonn had to be well aware that this was a possibility, was her essentially encased in what looked like a coffin. And so she's being escorted by a guy who's dangling from the chain or whatever that is. What would you call it when you rappel yourself down there? Well, some kind of cable that is attached to a helicopter.
Yeah.
Dangling in the wind there, high above the mountain peaks there in Milan or whatever part of Italy these skiing events are being contested in. You're not doing that because you want publicity or you're a selfish person. I mean, it's just you're risking your life. It's like people that say some boxer is gutless. I mean, the fact that he stepped into the ring, how many people are doing this? Even Jake Paul. Look, that shot, if Anthony Joshua really unloads, would have killed most people. So I don't know. I mean, to sort of dismiss it and say, oh, well, what a selfish woman this way. I don't think that played into it at all. I really don't. I just think that while it would have been respected, the toughness aspect of any other athlete to say, you know what, put me in, coach. Right? It really is the Ronnie Lott thing where he had his finger cut off and he kept playing. How many people would have recommended that? What was it crazy to attempt it?
Oh yeah,
but I mean, are the U.S. Olympic Committee members going to go ahead and sanction somebody going out, knowing that there was no chance that they could possibly survive what it was that they were attempting to do? I don't think so.
No, I mean, you said she did practice runs and stuff. It just wasn't. It felt weird to me. It was like, okay, yes, you got.
We've never heard of it. It was torn ACL is 9 months. Yeah.
Yes. Like you got hurt, so that spot that you got healthy is not the same spot. Now again, it's yours, and if you can prove that you're healthy, or you're up to it, it's your choice. So you weren't wrong in that. And if it was another sport, we would have been all in. So that's why I've sort of. I still
look
think
at the risk that she was taking herself. I mean,
yeah,
it would far outweigh whatever possible glamour she could have had come her way. And I mean, look, also she's 41, so this was going to be her last Olympics. So imagine you had been doing this your whole life, and you qualify for a final games, and look, they screened for Willis Reed, the guy who has scored 4 points in that game, and we still remember it as a classic, an epic, because of the way he limped out there on the court in that championship game against the Lakers. People don't even remember that Clyde Frazier had like 37 points and smoked Jerry West in that ball game. So, what do you remember about it? That the supposed heroic effort to overcome whatever pain he was experiencing by Willis Reed. And yet in this case, people, I don't know, was it only the professor? And then you guys kind of jumped on the bandwagon or?
No, when I first saw it, I thought it was weird. Because I remember her hearing that she got hurt. So I'm like, oh, that sucks. And then they said she's going to give it a go. So I'm like, okay, if she's giving it a go, I guess they're going to check and see if she can do it, but she's not going to be able to do it. And then when I was like, yeah, she's in, there's no questions, I thought that was weird. Like, I thought
Of course, it was weird.
I thought it was weird. I was like, it felt selfish to me. It felt greedy, like the person trying to get their one last lick, and she has a right to. But it's like I'd rather see if there's others that have a better shot to do better than her. We've seen her, and she's been retired for 5 years. Like she chose to retire. So, but you're not wrong. It's her spot. She has a right to do whatever with that spot, whatever she chooses.
Thought she could do it,
and she's allowed to go for it, and she did.
Yeah.
And again,
I'm just saying with the risk factor that's there.
Yeah, no, it wasn't an easy.
It's not the kind of sport that you can fake your way through.
No, you don't take it lightly either.
You can't just go down the hill at a slow speed there and bunny do the what do they call that on the bunny slope where you have your skis pointed together. What do they call that? It's like a move in skiing.
Oh, good.
I don't know.
I've skied a few times, but I don't know the names of the. I just try to survive.
Snowplow. That's what it is. The snowplow.
Good for you. Oh, when you stop,
you can't snowplow your way down the mountain there, waving to people with an American flag, going, "Hey, I want to sell more cosmetics." No, that's
no.
You know what's at stake there, even under the most healthy and pristine of conditions for any skier. I mean, look, she'd been busted up a zillion times. She could have been the Tex Cobb of skiing. I mean, just being she was like Chuck Wepner out there at the end. But said it had nothing to do with the knee. Still claims that. She had put out a statement yesterday saying absolutely had nothing to do with the knee injury. It was strictly like a fluke that she caught her arm on one of the gates, knocked her off balance, and now has a serious break that she had to deal with, which is going to require more than one surgery, Lubie, for a broken leg. So I can't imagine that somebody would take that lightly and just say,
I think NBC is a little gross in this, but again, we know television networks capitalize on whatever they can. She's a grown woman, and what they do is ridiculously risky. This is not an easy decision. I'm sure there was a lot. Again, what Brian was telling us, the stuff they had to do so that she would be able to do this isn't like she was in a brace, and then they had this liquid coursing through her, and there was metal, and it was like a whole thing. It's like, okay, so clearly this wasn't like, well, I'm gonna go ski again. Like there was a lot behind this.
It's not like you put a couple of skis on Jim Otto in the late stages of his life and sent him down the hill. But at the same time, from a personal standpoint, I mean, you would think that the courage that this woman was showing would be far more applauded than any kind of derisive notion that she was doing this out of just being too self-indulgent. I don't see that. I can't imagine. And if anything, when you see some of the camaraderie that is demonstrated by these skiers, like where especially these guys that do like this stunt skiing, Louie, they seem to be a real fraternity of people that appreciate what each other does. So sort of like you see in the X Games when the guys are on the skateboards and stuff, and you're thinking, it looks to me as contrary to most opinion about how sports should be contested, like these guys actually don't mind rooting for each other. They're almost like musicians in some senses, where they applaud the fact that the other guy did something fantastic. They seem to be very accepting. Somebody does a mind blowing performance and knocks a guy out of the gold medal spot. I'm talking about like the big air stuff and when they're skiing on pipes. That they seem to appreciate each other, and I would imagine that that is something that part of that. Lindsey Vonn, you wouldn't be the type to sit there and go, "Hey, listen, I know I'm going to hurt my team by competing." It seems to embody that spirit more so than the idea that, hey, it's all about me. At least from what I've seen from skiers. There you go. There's your psychological profile on anybody that's out there. You have to be crazy to do this. Rhymes with zit, Lubie. I believe. I mean, being a Jew, you don't see a lot of you don't hear this too often. Well, he's a Jewish kid from Brooklyn, and here he is at the ski jump.
No,
not a lot of that.
No, there's none of that. I don't know if I've ever heard of that. I've ever heard Morty Schwartz.
More inclined to be in mixed doubles curling. Just doesn't it sound like he got like a bitchy wife when you hear that? I don't know. A lot of shrieking in that, Lubie. Have you noticed that in the curling? A lot of shrieking.
No, I haven't watched curling. When it first came on the scene a few years, like a couple decades ago, I remember like having it on, but I've never.
So like going to watch Arena Sabalenka hit balls. I mean, a lot of screaming. All right, we're getting out of here for a few minutes, so we'll come back after some very, very important messages. So stick around. Much more to discuss here on the program. So we'll be back with more in a moment. Now that
The time.
it is 8:45.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs unmatched. Steaks hand cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Joe Bees. The bees collect the pollen, bring it to Joe, he packages it, and he gets it to you. It's simple, 100% natural, and it's good for you.
There's only one place to get Joe Bees, and that's from me. Joe B.
If you want to look and feel good, call 877-300-5632.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, astrophysicist extraordinaire, with us here on 940 Wins, 1230 The Zone, and around the world on the iHeartRadio app. Now, you do a lot of podcasting, and you're very diverse in the things that you cover, including one with basketball star Kyrie Irving. You know, we picture Kyrie Irving lighting incense and chanting Nam Yoho Renge Kyo. What was it like? I mean, the conversation with Kyrie Irving, especially in matters of astronomy.
Here's the thing with Kyrie Irving. So as you may know, and of course, if you knew that much about him, you would know that for a while there, he was a big fan of the flat earth. And so my response to that is, by the way, we care about Kyrie Irving because he's good at basketball. So people say, oh, you should not talk about a flat earth. And I'm saying, I don't care if Kyrie Irving wants a flat earth. He's a basketball player. There's plenty of jobs you can have in this world while you think earth is flat. Just don't let the head of NASA be among them, right? Just you live in a free country. You should be able to say what you want. And so I wasn't as distracted as other people were. I don't get my science from Kyrie Irving, and I'm not going to get basketball lessons from the head of NASA, period. So that's how I look at it.
From South Florida to the entire world, thank you to the iHeartRadio app. Here is Defo, joined by Lubie, on The Defo Show.
Why doesn't that guy run for office somewhere, right? That should be the politicians, right? Somebody with some logic.
I love him so much because he's a brilliant man who, being from somewhere, I don't know, where in New York, understands the common man, and he was raised by, I guess, quote unquote, common people, that he gets all of it. He's bright, but he knows how to just be himself and be fun and talk to the highest and the lowest common denominator. Neil deGrasse Tyson, again, is like Michelle Obama. The people that we would love to see that could win on both sides are like, yeah, why would I want to deal with that? I don't want to deal with that garbage.
Blame for not wanting to get involved. That's all right. We should mention names here. It's Corey Thies is the woman from Duluth, Minnesota, who's now part of the mixed doubles American curling team. She will be, I believe, I heard this right, the first woman ever to get a medal in curling from the United States. Is that possible?
Okay, so we were justified in making fun of American curling.
I tell you what, the game is insane. I don't know that it's sport. Is it sport, Lubie? Because after you sort of shoot this little thing, the rock there, it's not a little thing, but and then the key seems to be the spin of the handle, and it's very subtle. I mean, it's not like you just ram this thing down.
You're studying this.
No, I'm amazed by it. I really am. A, that I'm watching it, and B, that it's being offered constantly. USA Network, I think they're only covering curling. All right. Now, the other thing about that, though, Lubie, is tell me the truth, people out there. do you find yourself actually watching it? Whether it's from the perspective of, I can't believe I'm watching this crap, or, my God, this is fascinating. And do you find yourself getting into it? And if you do get into it, do you feel like you really need to seek immediate help and or take a shot of Dilaudid or something? Because your life essentially has been deemed to be beyond meaningless. I mean, holy Jean-Paul Sartre, what are we looking at here? We're watching this shit. What am I talking about, Lubie? How can I be into this? But I was watching it because, see, I really do get some kind of compassion for international competition. And in spite of the state of affairs that we often touch on, unfortunately, here at the show, because it's impossible to completely ignore. It just is. I'm sorry, people.
I mean, the stuff that came out yesterday is amazing. The stuff that is coming out daily with the Epstein stuff. Like the dude's mentioned 38,000 times, and that's only like half the files.
It's a lot of mentions,
I mean, you're
This
not.
isn't a Clockwork Orange where your name is on the list once and it's a bad thing. I mean, 38,000.
No, you're in your key. You're a key part of the whole thing. I mean, that's
Yeah.
clearly what happened and what's going on now. But anyways, yes, it's hard to ignore that, but it's nice to be able to. Like, it's nice to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy these international competitions, and of course, the skier was condemned for saying he's not thrilled with what's going on in America. I mean, what happened to John Carlos and Tommy Smith, right?
Again, remember there was a certain group of people that didn't like that either.
I didn't like it at the time. That was what, 1968. I was still in my high school years, where I was, as I said, a red-blooded American, and we all believed everything that the country was telling us was the way to be.
Mhm.
That we a year later realized, what's going on? Too cool.
Exactly.
I really don't want to go, but and imagine, I mean, these
Jesus.
poor guys came back and they get spit on for what
Yep.
they did. Unbelievable.
Wasn't
So
that-
we've been through our share of troubled times. This is not unique. That being said, the woman is going to get, I think, the first ever women's curling medal in U.S. Olympic history. We weren't very good at this game. And it's wild. I mean, some of the shots are pretty incredible, I have to say, Louis. I have to give it to him. This Italian woman put one right on the money yesterday, and she's shrieking the whole way up. It's kind of strange, right? Have you had this where Shirley is chasing you around the house while you're trying to mop a floor or do something, maybe use a new piece of an appliance or whatever apparatus that you haven't used before, like you go rent a waxer or something, and you're not sure that you know how to use it, and she's completely assured that you have no idea what you're doing.
That's every day.
And she's following you around the house going, and that's what it looks like to me. I don't know. Are they on some kind of skate? I mean, what
Oh
is
yeah, aren't they? Oh, they're not on skate. I thought they were on
one skate? Is there a small blade? What are they wearing on their feet? How come no one? Where's Lynn Swan when you really need him to explain what's going on?
with their shoes.
I want to see the bottom of those effing shoes, don't you?
Are they on just shoes? Oh, I thought they were on skates. I thought that was the whole thing.
There has to
Is
be some kind of skate element
it
there.
mopping while skating?
What
Exactly.
are those crazy skates that you see sometimes? Like I'm on the walk of life and some little kid will blow by me, and they have sneakers that turn into skates.
Yes.
Wow, could that be convertible sneaks?
I don't know. Then what's the difficulty? It's just staying there mopping. Like they're coming later today. I would never watch these lovely ladies who do a good job at our home do their job. Like, why would I watch that?
Would you follow them around and go, no, to the left, to the left, to the left? I said left, 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 left.
No.
Jesus, it's bad enough you have this coaching in tennis now, which is incessant. But and to have to listen to it, I mean, it's so typical. I guess, when did he start other forms of curling competition? How many other forms are there? There has to be singles. There has to be doubles. And then, of course, we've had 3 or 4 days now of mixed doubles curling. Am I really going to go downstairs after the show and turn that on? I guess I probably will.
I don't have
Strange as that.
time. I probably would too.
All right, news, NFL news. Clint Kubiak, I guess this comes as no surprise, finally was able to be announced
The Raiders.
as the Raiders' new head coach. So good luck there. That seems to be a burial ground of coaching resumes.
It should be interesting. I mean, they're gonna have what you want with a
You're
young
gonna have
team.
your man Mendoza.
young quarterback with a running back that, if handled the right way, should be an elite running back in Genty, and then a tight end that could be one of the greatest tight ends ever. He's come out with a start that we really haven't seen any tight end with, in Brocker. So, like, those are the that's the group that a lot of the time on offense can lead to a really good offense and a really good team. Like, problem is Crosby's already said he doesn't want to be there. And he was one of the best defenders in football, the kind of guy you can build defense around. Yes, you just said they've become one of these organizations, Dolphins, Browns, Jets, that just can't get out of their own way. So I don't know if, like, again, Carroll seemed like a good hire, and they didn't give him any time. They gave him a year. Like, now,
Carroll was suspect. I mean, I
he's
like
older. Like,
coach, but
are you getting an older dude to be with a young group? I get that, but then why'd you hire him in the first place? But either way, Kubiak did a really good job with the Seahawks. He did a really good job taking what Darnold learned from the Niners and the Vikings to another level. They just won a Super Bowl, and that offense was elite. And even versus a really good defense, did enough to win and win decisively. So, it's
and he managed to sort of get Sam Darnold past. And look, he may have been showing signs. If he plays one more game, does he revert back to what he did in Minnesota last year? Maybe. But you have to give Kubiak a little bit of credit there, because he was working with a guy that was seeing ghosts from, and then subsequently got let go in favor of a real unproven commodity in J.J. McCarthy. So that I don't know. Did that GM of the Vikings surface anywhere? Was he on any interviews, radio road?
No.
Oh, here he is. Here's the guy that let Sam Darnold go and said, hey, JJ's my man.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
How's it going? How was your off season going so far? You playing much golf? That'd be a great interview. Here's another bold admission on my part, Lubie, and you can feel free to mock me all you want.
Okay.
It's very unmacho, but I watched with interest, for a little while anyway, Pear's ice dancing last night.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, whatever.
I was watching the Protopopovs back in the.
You grew up with when figure skating was even bigger than when I grew up. It was a big deal, and the 60s and 70s was an even bigger deal. So
I'm amazed these guys can remember the routine. That both of them know exactly what they're doing at all times. And what do they skate, like 4 or 5 minutes in these open programs?
Mm-hmm.
How do you not get hit in the face with a skate?
That's
really. I mean, one screw up. You talk about this thing with Lindsey Vonn. One screw up, and next thing you know, it's like the Skid Row slasher just attacked you. You're literally doing one of these. How is there not more mishap? You don't see these pair of skaters falling all over the place either, and they do some. Look, I can barely stand up on skates. If you put me on the ice, you would have to. I'd have to crawl along the wall, Louie. I don't know. You're probably a good ice skater. Are you not?
No, good is not the word. I am not scared of it. Like, I can do it. I'm not good. I don't hold the wall the whole time, but I am not. I'm good on roller skates. I am not good on ice skates. I'm, again, a Jewish kid. We didn't grow up playing ice sports.
Between the two people that are doing this,
yeah, it's weird.
Even on the teams that don't score well, is pretty incredible. And I don't know how they separate one performance. I know it's based on a lot of technical stuff, and you had an American team that has been very prominent. They won a bunch of world championships, and they're supposed to win the gold medal here, and they're like in second place by a fraction of a centimeter of a point. And if you could have a centimeter of a point, and they were pointing out this like technical thing. It was very Dick Button-esque last night as they were showing. And you know, we used to comment on this. There wasn't really that much to comment on in boxing in terms of technique, unless you saw that video of the worst boxer ever, Joe Smith. But one of the big things was always, if you were doing play-by-play in boxing, I don't know why I always felt compelled to point this out, because I guess it made it sound like you knew what you were talking about, Lubie. Mm-hmm. Where you were talking about fighting a lefty, a standard right-handed fighter going against a lefty. And the big thing was that he was supposed to keep his left foot to the outside of the right foot of the left-handed boxer. That was like an essential fundamental that even Eddie Futch would be screaming in the corner, keep your foot outside. But if you really think about it, I mean, was it all that scientific? I don't know. I mean, so if the guy, I've seen plenty of guys knock out guys when they were doing the exact opposite. So I don't know how credible it is. But in this, I mean, there are like a zillion technical components to where you're positioned. And I would have to say, man, that these guys really knocked it out of the park last night. For me to watch as much of it as I did before it hit me again, like, what the F? Isn't there a basketball game on somewhere? What channel is that Pistons Hornets game on? I'm watching this. But I have to give it to him, man. As polished, and it's not like, if you didn't think that this was an athletic endeavor, let me ask you this simple question, and maybe we can leave people with this, Lubie. Have you ever seen a fat figure skater?
No. That's athletic. That's a sport. It's the curling is the one that is like in line with golf, where it's like you're doing activity, you're moving.
It's more of a game.
So it feels like it could be sport, but is it, when you see, like you're saying, who does it? Is it really?
Those guys are in decent shape, though. I would have to say. I don't know that I've seen a fat curling guy.
They have to walk. Oh, and curling, the curling people are in shape too.
I mean, it's not like you're watching some beer league bowling taking place in Los Angeles Lanes.
Maybe it takes a lot to like keep doing this constantly.
Yeah, I think you have to be in shape to leap out of that sort of crouch that they're in when they're sliding to the line, and then immediately hop up. And we don't know, are there skates or not? Does anybody know in the chat line? Are those effing skates? What are they? Shoes. They're cruising on a blade, doesn't it?
Sometimes it is harder to be in shoes on ice. Remember when we did didn't we do something with the Panthers?
It's impossible shoes.
We had to walk on the ice, and that was like, oh, geez.
I remember the first time I went out there, they said, would you like ice shoes? And I'm thinking, F yes. When and I realized it was a little overkill there. I mean, when you were putting those spikes on. Now, if you were wearing regular street shoes, which coaches do, I don't know how they do that.
Yeah.
They walk out on the ice after the game. I mean, how come no coach, Scotty Bowman, never went down?
They're wearing dress shoes a lot of the time, too, that are super slick.
Yes.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't know. Eventually, you learn to cope with it.
I guess.
Hokey between period activities that I used to MC, so I could get some freebie tickets to Panther games. Although it was worth it. It was worth having to go down there and embarrass yourself. Going, okay, look at little Johnny in lane 2 there. Looks like he's gonna get to Hootie the Owl first. Like, what? What kind of crappy contest did they have going? They had all kinds of crazy stuff. They had pro golfers one time who were in town for like the Honda Classic, hitting golf balls off the ice. That was kind of cool. Unfortunately, there were a few errant shots.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's going to be a half-hour delay while we repair the glass here. Looks to me like Rory McIlroy has sculled a 2-iron right into the glass there and shattered it. All right, we're going to get out of here. But you don't see any fat figure skaters, do you?
No.
Therefore, it's a sport.
No, I know exactly true. But it's definitely athletic and it's a sport. Curling, I don't know what to do with, but if you're go America, let's get that goal.
The minimum of silver in the first ever for any American woman. Did you verify that? I saw you like looking some stuff up, but I could swear I heard a guy say that. I was half out of it when it was happening. And that thing was shown half a dozen times, and I still don't know what the hell they're wearing on there. Has to be a blade on. Doesn't it seem like it's got a blade on one shoe and the other one is just a regular sneaker? But the key is to kind of, I don't know. Everybody has a different style, too, with the broom, which is kind of a hard thing to follow. All right, we're going to get out of here on that note. If anybody could figure that out by tomorrow, we'll entertain those thoughts. For Mike Lubie Lubitz, Luca, very well behaved today.
Okay, so yeah, it's okay. Before we go, since you really wanted to know about this, curling requires specialized shoes with 2 distinct soles, a slider, which is Teflon or steel. So there you go. That's not a blade, but it's blade adjacent. On the sliding foot for gliding, and a gripper. So I guess 2 different kinds of shoes for how you stand.
You're like Ali Chic when he used to wear
rubber on the other for traction. So there's not from what I'm seeing, there's no actual blade, but there's blade adjacent materials, I guess. On one, and then the other you do like a rubber that gives you a base.
Right. All right. So you got a little ability to push off and grip the ice there. Does the sweeping really affect anything, or is it just something to make it look more like it's a sport?
They do get into it. And now I remember what you're talking about. There's always someone on the outside. Come on! What's going on? Move it!
A lot of screaming. I'm wondering if that's just restricted to the mixed doubles, so that like the other people just kind of quietly go about their business.
Yelling at him, just you can't help it.
Well, watch some more of that and have some more of these astute observations about what's going on in the Winter Games. All right, see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for tuning in. For Mike Lubie, Lubitz, I'm Jeff DeForest. See you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9:04.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.